Hi, Hayden here, and this is the first part of the three-part series in the experimental videos that I want to make on the evolutionary process of the video production packages that I've used since I first became a self-employed professional videographer back in 1992. And this is going to be about the video cart. But before I get there, I want to mention the fact that these are the experimental videos, and in that I'm using the front-facing camera on my ZTE Axon 7 phone to shoot this video. And the reason for that, I was kind of leaning against using the cell phone video, but I decided, you know what, it's really important that I try to push cell phone video in the experimental range for me so I can get used to doing it and working with it to kind of ride that wave a little bit while it becomes better and better. As we see in what I talk about the evolution of my video production packages, I've been a witness to video getting better and better, and I just think that the cell phone video and the portable video is the wave of the future. That is the way things are going to go. It's just not possible for it not to go that way. So with that, this is the video cart system, and let me explain what I really want you to understand out of this, the appreciation that I want you to get out of this, and you'll be able to readily see it. It's a pain in the neck to work with. It's really, it's kind of a real time waster in this process. It's a great thing to have for the kind of video that I do, which is litigation support, but it's a real pain in the neck to have to set it up and tear it down every single time you go anywhere. I want you to notice the thing about the camera, the video monitor in the background there, that's a live image. Might be a slight delay there. Anyways, but the camera is hooked up. Everything's hooked up the way I would have hooked it up in 1992. Now, there's a couple of issues here. You notice that this is a widescreen monitor and it's not very deep. The thing about that is none of the original equipment that I had exists anymore. So I just decided I'd take my more modern equipment and set it up because I can make the connections the way I would have made the connections back in 1992. And the easiest way for me to explain that, and I'll do this in a video box system as well, I'll explain that there are two pathways. There's a video path and an audio path. And depending on the equipment that you have, how much equipment you have, and how you set it up, determines how difficult that setup is going to be. Now, using the video cart system, you have to be an absolute expert with that because you have to set it up every single time. And you have to make all the wire connections, all the cabling, everything every time. Setting it up, tearing it down, and if you have more than one job in a day, setting it up and tearing it down again. With the video box system, everything's all wired up, ready to go, minor connections, and power to the wall, and you are good to go. So with that, let's get into how this works. The video camera is just a camera. We didn't have these viewfinders on the side that we have now, so this is going to be just the way I would have set it up back in 1992. And all we had was a viewfinder, and it had a tiny image that was black and white. It just basically gave you the idea of if your framing was right, and maybe if your focus was close, but not necessarily correct. So in order to have all of that stuff and understand all that stuff, we had to have a video monitor with us. So let's take the video pathway. The video goes from the camera to the VCR. From the VCR, it goes up to the video monitor. The importance of that seems kind of obvious, right? But the importance of that is the camera is what's seeing what we're seeing on the video monitor. If we're seeing it on the video monitor, that means it is correctly going through the VCR, because otherwise we wouldn't see it. If we have video in the viewfinder and the record, it's going to record anyway. It's going to record whatever you tell it to record. It's just going to record. It doesn't mean you're getting a picture. But anyways, but if we see the camera image on the video monitor, that means it's correctly going through the VCR. So as long as we press record, we're going to get the image. So now let's go through the audio. This is a lavalier microphone, which isn't too much different than the one we used back in the day, but it is what it is. For the audio, the path goes from the microphone to a microphone mixer into the VCR, and from the VCR it goes into the video monitor. The best way to do the next step is to take the audio out of the video monitor and then send it to this device. This is an audio recorder. And I have another one over here off screen. It's the exact same unit, but I'll show you what we're talking about. There's an audio tape in here And the audio tape, if you never knew, that's what an audio tape looks like. And they're 120 minutes long because the VHS tapes that we used were 120 minutes, or 2 hours. The problem with this, it's 120 minutes, but it means it's 60 minutes per side. So at 60 minutes, or 55 minutes or whatever, we would have to flip the tape over. Now, if we flip it over at 50 or 55 minutes, that's going to take, it's like 5 or 10 minutes. We lose that much time on the other side too, so it's not a full 2 hours. That's going to get confusing, so I'm not going to talk to you about that because we don't use them anymore. But on the front of this thing is a VU meter. Now the VU meter has that white needle on it that bounces around. Depending on the size of the screen you have and the clarity, resolution, and all that kind of stuff, you should be able to see the white VU needle bouncing around on this audio recorder. Now you also notice that I have a set of earbuds. Back in the day we used headphones that covered your whole ear, but now we can use earbuds because they've come a long way, baby. And we can listen to the audio from that. It also gives us, we can hear other sounds other than what we're recording by using the earbuds. But now this is the way you want to set it up and why you would want to set up this equipment this way. The microphone goes to the microphone mixer, which goes to the VCR, which goes to the video monitor, and then comes over to the audio recorder. The audio recorder is where you would want to plug in at because it's the last thing in the series. This little meter can bounce around all day long, but if you're not hearing a sound in your headset, you may not be recording any sound over here. So you need to make sure that you're recording the sound. There are a lot of buttons on the side here. There's a lot of controls on the front, and if you're not using this device correctly, you're not going to be recording any sound in the audio tape. Now, that's only secondary though. If you have sound to the videotape, you can always make an audio tape after the fact. So it's very important to make sure you get the video right because you can't get the video right again. You have one shot to get it right. There is no take two. It's one take, Jake. Get the job done and move on. The audio can always be done secondary. Now again, we don't use audio tapes at all anymore. Everything's MPEG-3 wave files. Everything's wave files now. So, but if you're going to connect this equipment up, you want the audio recording to be the very last thing, and you can plug your headphones in to monitor it to make sure it was all right. Our video monitors of the day, it was just a video monitor. It wasn't a television set like this one is. It was only a video monitor meant for professional use to monitor a video signal. And but it also had audio headphone plug into that, so you could monitor the sound from there as well. So you can monitor the sound from the video monitor or from the audio recorder. So that was the important thing about that. All right, so one more time rehash. Video from the camera to the VCR to the video monitor. Simple setup. Audio from the microphone mixer to the VCR to the video monitor and then over to the audio recorder where we plugged in our headphones. The important thing about that was, and this is kind of a simplistic setup because we only have one VCR. Well, later on, because these VCRs are smaller than the original one I used, I said, I'm going to take two. Why would I take two VCRs? You only need one, right? Why would you take two? Here's why. Today, I can render a video file faster than real time. Meaning I could shoot 3 hours of video and I could render them out in less than, an hour and a half, 2 hours, okay? So it's faster than real time. Not only that, I'm making an MPEG-4 file. For me to copy off copies of an MPEG-4 file, I can do it like nobody's business. We can do it like crazy. It's very, very fast, very fast. So making copies are easy. Back in the day with VHS tapes, if you had a 1 hour tape and you needed to copy that tape, you were copying it for an hour because that's all you could do. You couldn't do it any faster than that. There's no high-speed duplication, not at our low level of video production. There is no high-speed anything. Everything was real time. So, but now we can. We'll touch on that in the third part of the series. So everything was very time-consuming. So in order to save time, at some point I decided to add a secondary VCR to my video card, which is another reason why I came up with the video box that you'll see in part 2. But when you have a VCR and another VCR, there's other issues that come into play, and you have to be aware of them. And one of which is extra connections. You have to send the video from VCR 1 to VCR 2, then up to the video monitor. Now here's a funny thing. Whenever we hit record on the VCR, it had this deliciously wonderful practice of throwing what we're doing up on our screen. So if we hit record, we'd say record here. You're not recording that word record on your tape. unless you have another VCR also recording. It's going to record the fact that you're recording. So you have to wait, you have to have that fall off the screen before you actually start your video production, so that in post-production you can cut that out if you wanted to. So with that, video to VCR to video monitor, audio to microphone mixer, microphone to microphone mixer to VCR to audio to video monitor to audio recorder. Now, I also shot the second part of this video, the second part of the series. I actually shot last night, and I remembered something after the fact in that I talked about super VHS. Well, VHS, that's just super. Now, here's what the real deal is. This VCR is a super VHS VCR. What super VHS provided better than regular VHS is a slightly enhanced picture, a little bit better video imagery. Number one. Number two, it also allowed a clean cut. If you stop the video, in regular VHS, if you're recording and you hit stop, and then you hit record again, that place where you stopped and started recording again, you're going to see a rainbow of colors fly across your video screen. The reason for that is a time code synchronization. I'm not going to get into the high technological aspects of the whole thing, but let's just put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? It has to catch up. And when it was catching up, it does, but where it was catching up, you'd see a rainbow of color across your screen. Everybody pretty much decided rather quickly that that was unacceptable, so they came up with Super VHS and flying erase heads. The flying erase head basically eliminated that mismatch in the code that's encoded into your video signal, and it allowed you to get a clean cut. And I can give you an example of that in other YouTube videos, maybe one or two of mine. You'll see a jump cut. Basically what a jump cut is it doesn't fade out the black, doesn't fade in from black, like my videos fade in from black, and they transition. You'll see a title screen at the beginning of my videos, then you'll see the title of the video that you're watching. There's a transition between the two. From that, I fade up to black, and then at the end of the video, I fade out the black. Those are transitions. If in the middle of the video, I'm looking to the right and then instantaneously looking to the left, that's a jump cut. It's kind of confusing and disorienting a little bit. Not too much, because we've all seen some crazy videos over the years, so nothing really bothers anybody anymore. But back in the day, it was pretty disorienting and we didn't like it. So we would come up with dissolves. If I decide that I have to do a jump cut, maybe I start talking about green peas and rice, I don't know. And then I'll realize, oh no, really I'm talking about the video cart, then I might do a jump cut. If I do a jump cut, if I do one, I push the video back and kind of merge it with the video beforehand, and I go back at least 15 frames. Again, I'm not going to go into the technological aspects of it, but if I go back 15 frames, it puts a nice dissolve. It's fast, but it's a nice dissolve, and your eyes will pick up that the dissolve happened, and you all say, what was Ray talking about? Where's he going with that? So you'll understand what that's all about. The jump cut is like instantaneous, things changed, and you'll pick it up. So, the big point about this video here is the video cart was a great system. It worked very reliable. It was a phenomenal system, but it was a huge time waster in having to set it up and break it down every single time we wanted to go shoot video. The video monitor was mandatory to have back then because it was the only way for us to be able to determine what we were seeing in our viewfinder was really what we were recording at the back end. And again, the video monitor was the end of the trail for the video, and for me, most of the time, it was the end of the trail for the audio. But if I was making an audio tape for the court reporter, then the audio tape would be the end of the trail for the audio. So with that, you can see there was a big waste of time, and you can truly understand why I came out with what you're about to see in part 2, if you watch these in order, and what I came up with the video box, which is actually down there behind the tripod legs in the corner. So with that, until I catch you in the next video, take care and be well.